All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Well, I got a burn in my saddle.
We talk, you listen.
Somebody that's going to take an innocent life is not mentally insane?
You know them.
Time to nut up or shut up.
You love to hate them.
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
Can I bring my AR-15 next time?
Sure.
Yes.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
You can't handle the truth.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show, coming to you from both California and Alabama. My name is Sasquatch. I'm in California. His name is Denton. He is in Alabama, and somehow, through the wonders of modern technology, we somehow come streaming into your ears.
This is amazing. Everything's going well in Alabama except for freezing. It's going to be 26 degrees tonight.
Oh, you want to tell the people about the text you sent me telling me how cold it was?
Well, sure. I took a screenshot of my phone there. I had the weather pulled up, and it said 30 degrees with a low of 26 degrees. The high was 64 degrees. Just to give you an idea of how the temperature swing is there. And I sent it to Sasquatch, and he sent a text that said brutal and a picture of his big feet wearing sandals. And of course I responded by saying, have I called you asshole today?
Nope, not today. I usually get one a-hole out of Denton every day.
Yeah, well, you know.
He wants to remind me.
He works for it.
All
right.
You want to throw out the email real quick?
Sure. If you want to contact us, you can contact us at Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com. That's Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com. Or you can go to prepperforums.net, and you'll catch us there talking about end of the days, Teowaki, that kind of stuff, preparation, and a whole lot of politics. And I think that's about it.
And let me tell you, that email of ours is just full. It takes me hours to go through it every day.
Slow down on your emails. We know that you adore us, but, just relax a little bit. Sasquatch is having to wear glasses. He's reading so much.
Exactly. Just to put in the headline, very important. That way I'll know to read that one instead of all the other thousands of emails.
That's right. Hey, you got anything for us? What's going on?
Well, first I want to just relate a little something that happened to me today. My grandfather died quite a long time ago. Like I was probably, 16, something like that. Mm-hmm. But like he was in the war, World War II. Mm-hmm. And he would tell me about it, but at 16, you don't care. But he wouldn't really tell me about it. He'd just tell me about it was horrible, hope you don't ever have to go through anything like that, blah, blah. He didn't really get into detail. Well, today, my dad was telling me some of the details about it. And it was just interesting to hear, like sitting there listening to, at least what my dad knows of it. Because, my dad was probably, 6 when he was gone. But what I'm saying is if you're a young person out there, and you got an older person, a grandfather, or just somebody that wants to tell you about these things, listen to them because it's interesting stuff. And it's like kind of stuff that you need to pass on to generations. Because I just kept thinking the whole time my dad was telling me these stories about what big pussies our country is nowadays. Like they couldn't handle that if they got sent off to war. They'd be like, stop the war. I've got a blister and you're triggering me right now. Like, I'm surprised that our country has not been taken over by a foreign country because we could not fight back.
Are you there?
Yeah. You and I could fight back, but most people in this country could not fight back.
Well, they didn't have back in World War II what we have today. We have very robust aviation. That can get them in and out, that can get supplies to them. They're never really that far away from supplies. Back then, they were far away from supplies. As a matter of fact, if you ever watched Patton or read War as I Knew It, they controlled his advancements by controlling his fuel. If he went too far, okay, don't give him any more fuel. He can't go any further. Yeah, things are different. If you got shot then, it's not, you weren't a dust-off flight away, you know. So, yeah, they were pretty tough cookies back then.
Well, and I just mean in general, like if it got down to the nitty-gritty, people just, they think they're tough, but really they're all a bunch of pussies.
Wow. So that's what you think of us, huh?
So if you take anything away from tonight's show, it's that people in America are pussies.
Wow, and this is coming from a California surfer.
Hey, I've been in plenty of fights in my day.
Well, look here. Speaking of which, you think we're bad. In California, do you follow hockey?
No, I'm not a big hockey fan.
I have watched some hockey, or the matches, games, whatever you call them, on TV. I thought they were interesting, but not enough to pick a team, and follow and learn all that crap.
You know what? Hockey is really fun to go watch live. On TV, I don't really get into it, but a live hockey game is a lot of fun.
See the blood and spit flying everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there's a fellow in California, in Canada, named Don Cherry, and apparently he was a big to-do in hockey. Okay, he is a commenter. But he's no longer because he got fired.
Really? For what?
Yeah, he got fired for hurtful, horrible words.
I can only imagine what they are.
Well, I'm going to read what he said. Okay, this is for Veterans Day. Of course, Canada has a military, and they had Veterans Day as well. It's pretty cool. Support your veterans. He said, you people that come here, whatever it is, you love our way of life. You love our milk and honey. At least you could pay a couple of bucks for a poppy, he said, adding, these guys paid for your way of life, the life you enjoy in Canada. These guys paid the biggest price. Now,
sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't understand what he's talking about buying a poppy, I don't know if you've ever been, at an intersection and somebody wearing a VFW hat or American Legion or whatever hat, they would sell you a poppy. It's not a real poppy flower, but it's fake and it's on a wire. And you give them a couple of bucks and they give you a poppy, and you bend the wire which dangles on your rearview mirror, and then other people can see that you are supporting your military. So that's what he's talking about, for a couple of bucks for a poppy. Well, that was hateful. Hateful. He referred to those people as you people. Can you believe it? The audacity. Now, that guy has a set, okay, and he's telling it the way it is. And so he gets fired for being patriotic. So I thought that was kind of disgusting. So you think we're bad here? He got fired for just telling people, hey, you come into this country, be proud. Support your veterans. Support the military. Canned.
It's a sad state of affairs when these days something like that happens for, just speaking your mind. It's not like he was, attacking some group or anything. He was just saying, hey, these guys give you the way of life you have, so, why not give a little bit back?
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe an illegal or an immigrant cut him off on traffic on the way to work. I don't know. But, okay, he singled them out. Big deal. He has a point. I thought it was a pretty good point.
Well, it seems odd that he would just single somebody out. I wonder if it's the whole quote was taken out of context. Maybe somebody said something to him like, well, how do you feel about immigrants coming to this country and supporting the military or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, set up.
Yeah, it sounds really weird that he would just out of the blue go, hey, all right, you immigrants, I'm talking to you.
Could be. That would make sense. I don't know. But, so, I think we've hashed that one out pretty good.
Well, all right. So I know Halloween is over, but you want to hear a scary story?
Definitely.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said Tuesday that she is under pressure from many, many, many people to pursue a 2020 White House bid, but she signaled that she isn't planning to run, at least not at the moment. Clinton made the remark in a joint interview with her daughter Chelsea, On BBC Radio 5 Live. In the Tuesday radio interview, the 2016 Democratic loser was asked by host Emma Barnett about her future plans. Clinton replied that she wants to see President Donald Trump retired and is going to be helping our side try to put together the strongest possible campaign, which will be difficult, she said. Then the interviewer said, "Are you going to run again?" Clinton said, no, I'm... and then she got interrupted. That's 100%, the host continued. So in a few days, I'm not going to open my newspaper. And Clinton said, well, you know, I'd never say never to anything.
Well, there's some jokes to be made by that statement, but okay, yeah. Keep it family friendly.
Hey, but you know what? Hillary, I say jump on in there.
Get stomped again.
Exactly. I mean, you were a mess afterward, so let's see what would happen this time.
Speaking of which, that was scary. I just want everybody to know that if everything goes well and my computer doesn't crap out like I'm kind of afraid it's going to do, we're going to have a guest with us next week. We should be recording Monday evening, and so you'll be able to pick it up in the morning, Tuesday morning. Her name's Angela Roman. Well, I haven't talked to her yet. Roman or Ramon. She's running in Oregon, 5th District. She's going to be a congressman. And she is conservative, Constitution-friendly, supports Trump, running out of Portland, Oregon.
She might just get her butt stomped. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm glad she's doing it, but I don't know if Portland is the friendliest place for conservatives.
Well, I don't know about the whole 5th District. We'll ask her about that. How is it gerrymandered? Is she going to get like 5% of the vote, maybe 2%? Or is it fair enough to where she has a chance? Don't know. We will find out.
That would be
so
nice.
Anyway, yeah, something for folks to look forward to.
Well, good deal.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's your turn again.
Oh, my turn again?
I believe so.
Okay. How about this one? Trump was right.
Of course.
During his speech, President Trump referenced the increased violence in Sweden due to tremendous influx of refugees. This actually kind of goes with the story about Canada you were talking about. President Trump said, you look at what's happening in Germany, you look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden, who would believe this? Sweden, they took in large numbers. They're having problems like they never thought possible. You look at what's happening in Brussels, you look at what's happening all over the world. Take a look at Nice. Take a look at Paris. And, of course, the media immediately pounded Trump. They ran attacks all day Sunday, claiming Trump said that there was a terrorist attack in Sweden, but Trump was right. The bombings and violence have continued to escalate in the once peaceful Sweden. On Monday, Denmark closed its borders with Sweden as bombings spread. They put out this note. Denmark will temporarily reinstate border controls with Sweden and step up police work along the border after a series of violent crimes and explosions around Copenhagen and Danish authorities say were carried out by perpetrators from Sweden. The checks, I don't know what that means. The checks, like checkpoints, will start Tuesday for 6 months. Will take place at the Øresund Bridge between Copenhagen and Swedish city of Malmö and also ferry ports. So, what were they saying about those borders that we don't need?
So what they're saying is if you flood your country with people that don't share your values, don't know your values, may have contradictory values, don't want to assimilate. As a matter of fact, they want to change your way into their way. Well, then life is peachy. So if that be the case, I mean, really, we need diversity in culture because there's nothing better for a country than diversity in culture. Just look at everything these other cultures bring that enhances our culture. So, yes, erase the borders. If Trump's going to build that wall, he can also go so far as to build a bridge between here and Europe.
I'm for it.
High-speed rail. We'll have Jerry Brown in charge of pushing the high-speed rail.
There you go, across the wall. Well, isn't that what AOC wanted? She wanted high-speed rail across the ocean. We can put her and Jerry in charge together.
That's right. Yeah, that's insane. It's insane. The whole intention is to destroy the West. We know that. You know that. Bob Dole knows that.
And I've never lived in Sweden or Denmark, but I'm guessing, just taking a wild guess here, that bombs are illegal. Yet somehow, the bad guys still get them.
You know what? I don't know how that happens either, because to me, it's crazy. It's just as crazy to me, and it may not be for you, but to me, that the Supreme Court said that, yes, lawsuits against Remington can go through. Do you remember the Parkland shooter, the Sandy Hook shooters, these shootings?
Yes.
Well, you had the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting. Well, people are upset, of course. You lose children, you're going to be upset. Well, these people want to sue Remington Arms.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know it, but apparently that rifle just jumped out of the safe and went on a rampage. And if that be the case, I agree. It should be, that company should be sued. But I think there was a shooter, But the case is being watched by gun control advocates, gun rights supporters, and gun manufacturers across the country because it has the potential to provide a roadmap for victims of other mass shootings to circumvent the federal law and sue the makers of the firearms. Now, that federal law they're talking about is 2005 federal law preventing most lawsuits against firearms manufacturers when they sell their products and the products are used in crimes. Now, here's a stupid thing. Well, there's so many stupid things, but here's a stupid thing. The lawsuit says that Madison, North Carolina-based company should never have sold a weapon as dangerous as a Bushmaster AR-15 style rifle to the general public. It also alleges Remington targeted younger, at-risk males in marketing and product placement in violent video games. What? Okay.
All right.
Okay. Opponents of the lawsuit contend that gunman Adam Lanza alone is responsible for killing the 20 first graders and 6 educators. He was 20 years old. They say, I support the Second Amendment and the right to own firearms and guns. But on the other hand, there's reckless advertising and marketing, says Neil Heslin, whose son, Jesse Lewis, died in a shooting. There should be accountability and responsibility for that. Well, Sass, I'm sure you like me. You like to peruse gun-related websites on the internet, probably while you're at work even. You have gun magazines. Have you ever seen it somehow advertised for teenagers? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Have you seen the advertisement they're talking about? The actual advertisement?
Mm-mm. Apparently not. I
have, and it is a dumb advertisement. I will give them that, but it's not. It didn't make anybody go out and shoot anybody. What it is, it's just a picture of the Bushmaster, kind of a profile picture of it, and the tagline on it says, consider your manlyhood checked, or something like that. Something stupid like that. So, me, personally, whenever I take a firearm into my hands, I don't feel manly. I feel a sense of responsibility. So I think they were sending the wrong message there. But, again, I don't think they should be able to sue over a stupid marketing plan.
Well, I kind of think that considering today's snowflakes, it's like a University of Virginia. They canceled the 21-gun salute.
Because they were all getting triggered?
yeah, the kids could get triggered. Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, those are snowflakes. Those aren't, they'll never grow up to be manly men if they're going to be triggered, by a 21-gun salute.
Uh-huh.
I certainly would hate for them to go into the military. Could you imagine when they go to the rifle range and all those evil black rifles are going off at the same time? They wouldn't be able to get a basic training before they had the onset of PTSD.
Well, which circles back to what I was saying earlier about our country could get overrun easily because of all those snowflakes.
Yeah, that's right. Now, before the school shooting, Lanza shot his mother to death at their Newtown home. He killed himself as police arrived at the school. The rifle was legally owned by his mother. Okay, so we have a SSR, what is it? Selective serotonin reuptake prohibitor. He was on meds.
Uh-huh.
And I love these meds. You see them on the commercials on TV. You know, these meds are for depression. You know, some side effects include thoughts of suicide.
Uh-huh.
Wow, sounds to me that's going the wrong direction. But anyway, so he's on mental meds. Well, it wasn't his rifle.
You know what? Hold on. Before you even go on, right there is a good point of contention. Why aren't they suing the drug manufacturers instead of the rifle manufacturer?
That is a very good question.
No, nobody's even questioning that. I mean, Trump brought it up before. He said, you know, hey, we got a problem with kids on these drugs, and they get off of them when they turn 18 because they don't have to take them if they don't want to, and their brain's all scrambled, and they get a hold of a gun and they do something horrible. So, but everybody screams, oh, it's not a medication problem, it's a gun problem. Well, right there, it says on the package of the drugs, it says, this may cause you to kill people.
Well, that's kind of funny in a way, but sad too. But this is crazy. Now, let's say they go forward. Now, to me, this is what do you call that? Frivolous lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not that assault rifle. It doesn't have a 5,000 clip magazine, whatever it was that idiot politician said. You know, it's one pull of the trigger, one bullet goes down range. It doesn't matter if it looks like an AR-15 or if it looks like a M1 or whatever. You know, that's all it is. It's just a rifle. It's not a deadly rifle. And they're trying to make it sound like they're just willy-nilly throwing these weapons of war out here in the streets. The only people who can say that are either people that know they're lying or they don't know weapons at all. And the only ones that could believe them don't know anything about weapons. So this is retarded.
Well, and that's it right there. They're throwing this out there trying to get people that don't know to jump on board.
Yeah. Now, I have a question.
All right.
I mean, I've got an idea. You know, I jumped on the non-drinking bandwagon. I should fall off for a night.
All right.
You know, because I can't stand my Ford. We discussed this. It's not an escape. It's an escapade. I hate it. One way I can get rid of it is to go and get a bottle of booze, down that bottle of booze, go out there and crash into a cop car. You know, that way I don't have to wonder when the cop's going to arrive to do the paperwork and arrest me.
All right. Just make sure you video it for me.
Oh, absolutely. And then I'm going to sue Ford, okay, for putting such a dangerous piece of equipment in my hand. You know? See, it's the same thing. There is no difference.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
Well, you were drunk. Well, Lonzo was on mental meds that clearly said, hey, you may kill people, including yourself. So, boom, I can get rid of the car. I can make money. Better than the lottery.
And you'll get three square meals a day and a cot.
Unless I win that lawsuit.
Well, that's true.
So there.
Well, all right.
Anyway.
I saw this today. A couple different sites were talking about this, and I kind of skimmed through it, so I'm not an expert in this, but my takeaway was the reason the Supreme Court didn't take this case was because, for one, they have a lot of cases to take, so they can't just be taking every case, and two, they're kind of saying, no, this needs to be kicked back down to you guys. This is not for us. You need to figure it out down there.
What, this particular case?
Yeah.
Well, this is the Supreme Court that said, yeah, this lawsuit can go forward.
Yeah, but that's in Connecticut. So this is a state issue, and that's what they were saying. You figure this out in Connecticut. But if the Supreme Court were to take it and say, oh, no, well, you can sue, then it's the entire country. You get what I'm saying?
You know, it's funny you say that. I just clicked it off. I thought it was the U.S. Supreme Court.
It was, but they were saying you need to handle this in your state. This is not an entire country thing. This is your state thing.
But they said that, yes, you can sue. These people can sue Remington Firearm.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're going to win.
No, it doesn't mean they're going to win. But that's in spite of the 2005 law that was supposed to protect the firearms companies from what I consider frivolous lawsuits. Now, I would like for it to Well, take it to court. And hopefully there'll be some normal people in the jury. The problem is, maybe they're not. Maybe they're a bunch of brainwashed liberals that say, yeah, let's stick it to the firearms company.
Very possible. That's why they keep throwing out words like military style and weapons of war and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Now, to show that other people can be just as stupid, Louisiana governor, what's the guy's name? Bill Edwards, he's pushing gun control laws as well because of this. Okay, the Parkland attack is the one that's triggering him. He wants to do things like better background checks. Better background checks. Now, how do you do a better background check? You, the buyer, fills out the 4473. The seller at your gun store, he calls the FBI and gives the information, and they say, yep, he can have it, or no. But let's say if they say, yeah, he can have it. How do you make it better? Do you ask the FBI person there to do another one? Try it again, just to make sure.
Come on, you can dig up something.
Yeah. You got all this information at your fingers, and you can't find anything on this cat. And also, if you're on the no-fly list, you shouldn't be able to get a weapon either. Well, okay. Well, the Parkland shooter wasn't on a no-fly list. What would that have to do with anything? It would have nothing to do with anything. That lunatic Democrat Louisiana governor, he's just stupid.
How come, now I'm just going off a tangent here, but how come when, and I know the answer to this already, but how come when somebody wants to buy a gun, the liberals want all the T's crossed, all the I's dotted, every check you could possibly do on somebody, blah, 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 I'm pushing for more and more and more and more. But when it comes to voter laws, they're like, oh, no, there's no reason to check anybody.
Because the ones who aren't good enough to, they don't have the driver's license or whatever, the Democrats know those people are going to vote for them.
Exactly. What I'm pointing out is it's just funny how they love all these checks and everything when it's something they want that benefits them, but when it's something that would go against them, they're, oh, no, there's no reason to check anybody. We don't need any checks.
I just thought something. I wish Trump would go hardcore anti-gun.
All right, why is that?
Because then the Democrats would go for guns. As a matter of fact, suppressors would probably not be on the list anymore. It's really annoying when I call up CDM cans and say, hey, John, I need another suppressor. Okay, well, let's do the paperwork, the arduous paperwork. And by the way, on top of the can cost, $200 that goes to the feds.
I like that.
$200.
Reverse psychology from Trump. That would be that would be quite interesting.
So, okay, you've got another one, or you want me to do my last one?
Oh, no, I got another one.
Okay, go for it.
Speaking of Triggered, did you know that Donald Trump Jr. wrote a book called Triggered?
Yes, I did. I've seen him on TV doing interviews.
Well, last Sunday he was here in California over at UCLA doing a little book tour. And, of course, if the name Trump is anywhere near anything, there's got to be protesters. And they began demonstrating hours before Trump's appearance at UCLA's Moore Hall. And then, of course, all the media is there, and this whole thing is about Trump Jr.'s book, but the first thing they say is they ask somebody, and they say, ourselves and students and people across the country must demand that the Trump-Pence regime must step down. Well, wait a second. This is his son hawking a book. Why are you talking about... It cracks me up that it always comes back to Trump, no matter what it is.
The Trump-Pence regime.
Regime, yes. That was from protester Atlas Winfrey. She's an organizer with the activist group Refuse Fascism.
Oh, she's demanding we not say certain words, do certain things, and demanding that an elected government step down. But she's against fascism.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. She also said, we can't wait for 2020. We can't sit around and wait for how many more immigrant children to die.
Yeah, damn Trump. He's just killing them left and right.
Refuse Fascism called President Trump's Make America Great platform a 21st century fascist program of manifest destiny and a specifically American culmination of white supremacy, misogyny, and xenophobia.
Wow. And she can't prove any of that.
The funniest part of this whole thing is these protesters just proved Trump Jr.'s book because it's called Triggered. So
Yeah, I'm going to buy that book.
Well, let me know what you think.
Have you listened to him on TV?
Trump Jr.?
Yeah.
I've heard him from time to time. Why?
I think 2024.
Huh?
2024.
What about it?
Wow.
Oh, a run on 2024. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, my gosh.
It was a long day. I'm running a little slow.
Okay. Yeah, 2024. I mean, he doesn't seem to be at all establishment. And people say, well, Pence will be the next one. Well, he's establishment. Remember, he was for the Trans-Pacific Trade Treaty, you know?
You know, all right, I did hear something the other day on the news that was pretty funny about Trump Jr. Did you know he went on The View with all the cackling hens?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you hear the audio, it's just them cackling. I mean, they ask him a question and he starts to answer, and and you can't hear anything. So they were accusing him of being a racist and all these things, and he pops up at just the right moment when they're taking a breath. So he finds the exact right moment, and he says, "But Joy, weren't you caught in blackface?" And it just the whole thing goes. And then Whoopi Goldberg starts screaming, "She was never in blackface. She was never in blackface." When actually she was, because it was a story about 6 months ago that when she was younger, she took pictures of herself because she dressed up on Halloween as a black African queen or something, and she wore dark makeup, blackface.
Mm-hmm.
So Whoopi's cackling that she never did it, even though there's proof that she did it, and even though Joy Behar admitted to it on The View that she did it. So it just goes to show those women are idiots.
Well, yeah, didn't need much to show that. Of course, there may be a Democrat listening to us going, these two guys are idiots.
Well, that's very true.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, look here. I can one up stupid.
All right.
And not Don Jr., but the View.
All right.
This is from a website called the environmentdepth.org.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. You're really into it. You're already yawning. Pelosi says Dems will shut it all down if they don't get their way on impeachment. Okay, this is pretty crazy. They had a reporter there. She was Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is getting desperate. In a secret meeting today, broadcast live on C-SPAN by accident, Pelosi was heard telling a group of wealthy donors that majority of the country wants Trump removed. Well,
that's a lie.
Nobody has called. Well, I can't even say that. Somebody may have called me, asked me that, but if I don't recognize the number, I don't answer. I used to have a lot of fun messing with the telemarketers, but I'm bored with them. Our reporter in the field, Sandy Batt, says the speech was simply disgusting. Sandy saying this: Pelosi was overheard at a fundraiser full of Hollywood elites bashing the president and calling for a total shutdown if her party didn't get their way on impeachment. In her own words, Pelosi said, "We will shut down not just the Senate smoking lounge, but their cafeteria and their bathhouse. The Roman Empire fell from within. The Senate will follow." What?
Was she speaking metaphorically, or do they really have a bathhouse?
I was more taken aback by smoking lounge. They have a smoking lounge? I didn't think you could smoke in any federal building.
Well, come on. You know, it's do as we say, not as we do there in D.C.
Well, Pelosi then went on to say she would make sure none of Trump's boomer supporters get their Social Security checks if they don't fall in line.
Well, she must be talking about the government shutdown coming up then.
It could be. But the reporter went on to say, the reporter said the whole thing was like listening to Stalin give a dissertation on socialism. So, I've never seen this website before.
It sounds more like a kid on a playground saying, "I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to take my ball and go home."
Yeah, so Pelosi here is threatening the Senate and also threatening Social Security check recipients. Isn't that funny?
Well, I think there are a few people that would not be too happy about that.
Now, how in the world is Pelosi? Okay, she says the boomer supporters of Trump. Okay, so how is the Social Security Administration going to know the difference between liberal baby boomers and, you know what I'm saying? This is stupid.
Yeah.
But it seems to me Pelosi is good for stupid.
Oh, she's always good for that.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know that the Democrat is really, really in favor of the little people.
Well, Pelosi opens her mouth and diarrhea comes out is basically what happens.
Is that why San Francisco has such filthy streets?
That is possibly why San Francisco has such filthy streets. In fact, they're so filthy, and speaking of diarrhea, that, did you hear about this one?
Oh, I'm afraid I did. I know where you're going.
Well, a crazed homeless man decided he was going to dump a bucket. Now, that's a bucket, like the kind you'd wash your car with, of hot diarrhea all over a woman. She was heard saying, "It was diarrhea, it was hot liquid, I was soaked, and it was coming off of my eyelashes and into my eyes." That would be Heidi Van Tassel. Paramedics who came to treat me said there was so much of it on me that it looked like the man was saving up for a month.
Golly.
Now, the worst part about this is Heidi says she's got PTSD, which I don't know, I guess I would after something like that. But she's going to have to be tested and retested every 3 months for infectious disease for the foreseeable future after the attack. I don't know. It's not in the story, but I heard it here earlier. The guy did get arrested. They found the guy and they arrested him. He was out hours later.
Filling up another bucket and looking for another victim.
I suppose so. I guess he was spotted on a street corner or on a bus stop just screaming at cars as they went by. So tell me how a guy dumps diarrhea on a woman's head and then is released a few hours later to go out into the general public again.
Well, he's obviously a nut job.
I mean, welcome to the liberal utopia that is California.
What do you do with nut jobs? Do you lock them up?
Well, I mean,
they need to be off the street.
I'm sure you guys have something like this, and it may be exactly the same. We have what's called a 5150, and if you are a danger to others or yourself, you are held for 72 hours. So why wasn't this guy? Because I would say dumping hot diarrhea on somebody is a danger to others.
I would think so. Yeah, you got a point. But in 72 hours, he's going to be out there filling up another bucket.
Well, in that 72 hours, they can determine that, yes, he is crazy and hold him longer.
Okay, this guy's homeless.
Mm-hmm.
He saved up diarrhea, not healthy excrement, but diarrhea. So I would say there's a good chance she's going to hit pop positive for an infectious disease here directly.
Probably.
But he saved up diarrhea so that he could dump it on just a random person's head.
Yeah.
And then he goes about his business yelling at cars. Okay, I don't think you have to wait 72 hours to determine this guy is a nut job.
I wouldn't think so.
So, yeah, he needs to be somewhere, and I think a lot of them out there need to be somewhere. But Democrats in California, they're too busy worrying about plastic straws instead of worrying about mental hygiene.
Well, and I heard somebody on the radio also commenting about this, saying, okay, when you had the Harvey Weinstein or any of these people from that whole Me Too movement supposedly attacking women, right? Mm-hmm. Women were up in arms all over the place. Well, this lady gets attacked with hot diarrhea, and no women are out there saying a word about it.
That's a bad thing.
If I were a woman, I would be scared to walk the streets of Los Angeles or San Francisco or any of these places where they're just running amok.
Oh, no doubt. It's funny. You went to a story that I turned my nose up. Okay. I read that, and I said to myself, we're not going to do that story because that's just one shitty story.
The lady definitely had a shitty day.
We're really punny tonight.
You know what, though? I think, and I was thinking about this earlier when I heard about the story, the reason this was in L.A. Yeah, this is in Hollywood. Well, Garcetti is the mayor of L.A. The reason he doesn't do anything about this, because he's all for the homeless and tells the cops not to do anything to them and let them roam, let them do whatever, is because they have no skin in the game. They live in their ivory towers. They don't have to deal with this at all. I say we take his entire family and put them on a street that is filled with homeless people and say, just let them walk down the street.
Well, first hand out a bunch of buckets, and then a month later.
But I mean, there are attacks here all the time. Homeless people punching people in the faces. There was one in Thousand Oaks where a homeless guy walked into a restaurant and slit a guy's throat while his granddaughter was sitting on his lap. And it's still going on. It's just insanity to me that this whole thing is still going on, and it has been for years.
Well, it needs to get under control because this is going to cause people to move out of California.
Well, that's already happening, but I just, it's gotten so bad. I mean, there's so many, this story, the one about the guy's throat getting slit. What is the tipping point? When is it bad enough that everybody goes, okay, we got to fix this? You know what I mean?
It'll never be that bad.
I don't know what it is. I guess if homeless people rounded up a bunch of children and threw them into a meat grinder, would that be enough?
Nope. Not unless he was wearing a MAGA hat.
I guess so.
If this crap keeps on and more Californians move out of California, they're just going to wreck other states. They're like, I don't know.
Locusts.
Just pick some sci-fi where, what was that show with, never mind. Yeah, they're just going to go across the country and just destroy the whole thing.
Well, they're trying.
Locusts. Yeah, I think that's the ultimate plan. The commies know California is very well infected. Now we have to figure out some way for the infection to spread. I know. Let's make it uninhabitable for the normal working class people here. They'll go forth and spread. They'll fix everything. Huh. Texas is going down. Well,
hey,
that was a cheery little thing. What?
All you and I can do is say we tried to warn you, America.
That's right.
I mean, we've been, how long have we been doing this? A little over 2 years now?
Yep.
We've been trying to warn everybody, but people just don't want to listen.
Nope. I'm hungry.
I got a big bucket.
You sick puppy. Well, you have another story because I do not.
I do not either, so I think it's time for us to shut her down.
Yes, because, have you seen these little mini tacos? They look like tacos, but they're small. Put them in the oven at, I think, 350 for 15 minutes. Slather them with habanero sauce. Fantastic. That's what I'm about to hit.
All right. Well, go forth and munch.
All right. Well, look here, everybody. Go forth and get some food. You need it. You got to save your energy up so you can conquer liberalism.
You may
We're
want
going to be here all the way with you.
You may want to pass on the chili, though.
What's the matter? Oh, again. I knew that story was going to pop up and it's going to just permeate this whole thing. All right, look here. Everybody, Sasquatch is going to make sure we're doomed. So what do we do, Sass?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Good night, everybody.